Good evening, I'm meteorologist Joe Winters. Thanks for joining us tonight. We do have another area of wintry weather that's moving through eastern Iowa. Seems like it's been a pattern, and you're right, the past several weeks. This week we're dealing with several storms that'll be moving our way, but one that's the major concern happens for the mid part of the week. So once again, we are going to continue to break down that storm for you, give you an idea of what we're thinking, what we're seeing at this point. The one thing with this storm for sure, there is not a lack of moisture. Plenty of moisture is out there, and we are going to see precipitation. It really just depends where the freezing rain line sets up. The snow does look to remain farther toward the north across northern Iowa. We've got our latest snowfall forecast for you, and then there'll be rain as well. And where the rain falls, it could be heavy. Right now, that looks like far southern Iowa and more into areas of Illinois. But again, the exact track, of course, determines that. But ample moisture with the storm, that definitely is not a problem at all. So let's go ahead and take a look kind of at our setup for tonight. And tonight is just really quiet. We've got a weak cold front that has pushed through the area. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've seen the wind shift around to the northwest. We could see some, again, gustier winds tonight, maybe up to 30 miles an hour, but overall quiet tonight and quiet tomorrow morning. Then you see that system that's off back across areas farther off to the north and west. That will zip into the area, and that brings our first chance of a little light snow. So let's go ahead and take a look at that with Pinpoint Futurecast. So we'll call that kind of storm number one, and you see by noon tomorrow, we have mostly cloudy skies across eastern Iowa, but there's a little light snow developing back off toward the west. This is a weaker storm, but you'll see that it does move in as we head toward 3, 4 o'clock. There are some scattered light snow showers across maybe our northern two tiers of counties. I'm not looking for anything big as far as accumulation in eastern Iowa as that system moves through. 6 o'clock. Maybe affecting Allamakee, Fayette, as well as areas farther to the north, Clayton County, Winnebago County as well, as you can see, back farther off toward Charles City. That activity kind of stays with us until Wednesday morning. And once we hit Wednesday morning, things do quiet down as far as that system is concerned. But we already have some rain gathering to the south and some mixed precipitation, and that's in association with the stronger storm system moving through. We'll get back to Pinpoint Futurecast, but kind of give you the first alert as we head through the entire week. We talked about several storm systems. Tuesday's the light snow. Wednesday we have pretty high impacts because of that chance that we will see freezing rain in the area, and even a little bit of freezing rain can cause major problems, especially when it comes to travel. Thursday we're going to see the snow come to an end, and there's yet another system on Friday, although again it looks a little weaker in nature, but it will bring an afternoon chance of some scattered areas of snow showers. So again, those are your impacts during the next 5 days. Overall, the quietest day doesn't come till the start of the weekend. So here's kind of some overall timing for you on the storm that's coming on Wednesday. First panel, we're talking about 6 a.m. picture. You're going to look at a wintry mix starting to develop farther north to the south. That'll develop during the morning commute. So it'll start south and move to the north. As we are to the noon hour, that's your center picture. That's when we see that wintry mix, of course, along Highway 20. And then farther to the north, it's pretty much snow. Farther to the south, it could be some rain mixed with some freezing rain as well. And it's possible as we head into areas north of Highway 20 where some of that snow is showing up, that could also be some sleet. And then overnight, some snow showers with some stronger winds move in. Winds, not necessarily a problem with the snow as much here, but if we do get some ice that accumulates, that also can cause some problems. Tree branches, as well as taking a look at things like power lines and things like that, the winds can be an issue. So let's move Pinpoint Futurecast ahead now to take a look at the Wednesday system. Now you'll notice, and let's start about 6 a.m. That's just before our morning commute kind of gets underway. You'll notice a little bit of precipitation starting to gather across southern Iowa. That pink color, yeah, that means it's a mix of precipitation, likely rain, freezing rain as we head farther south. You'll notice as we move ahead in time, and this will take us right up till about 9 o'clock. There, the moisture continues to stream north. So now, Washington, Oskaloosa, you're seeing it at 9 a.m. Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Tama, you're starting to see some of that mixed precipitation. And again, that's in the form of freezing rain. And then likely, as it moves farther north, especially as it gets up toward Highway 20, it will definitely be freezing rain. Right now, the heaviest line for freezing rain kind of setting up across Buchanan, Delaware, and Dubuque counties. I do think the blue, a little bit overdone by our model, probably some more mixed precipitation a little farther north. Areas of Clayton, Fayette County as well, Bremer County, Blackhawk County as well. So kind of keep that in mind as the system moves in. Go north of that, that's where you have some snow that will start as snow and stay as snow. And then farther south, you see down toward Washington and Mount Pleasant, where we've seen a bit of a mix through the morning hours, now becoming maybe a little bit more rain as that storm continues to evolve and move through. There you see your 3 p.m. picture. Notice the snow heaviest to the north. And speaking of snow, Minneapolis is going to get dumped on. They could get over 2 feet of snow from this storm. It's going to be absolutely wild to watch that storm up there, likely some blizzard conditions. We will not have that much snow in eastern Iowa. Other than the northern tiers of counties, could get some significant snows. We've got our snowfall forecast coming up. By 3 p.m., pinpoint futurecast showing again that mix right along and north of Highway 20 and moving farther down toward the south. That includes Iowa City. It includes 151 as we head up toward Dubuque, Maquoketa. Travel will be pretty difficult, I think, across many areas as we move from Wednesday morning through the day. Still could be some light mixed precipitation. This is still 6 p.m. Dubuque, Cedar Rapids points toward the south. Looks like a little bit more snow farther to the north. And let's take the counties from north of Highway 20, Fayette County, Clayton County, and north, still staying as snow. And again, that's where you'll see more of the snow accumulation or even sleet accumulation. It's a question mark in the north to watch the sleet that's moving in. By 9 p.m., we're starting to lose the majority of the precipitation, although there could be one round kind of moves through with some scattered snow showers into the early morning hours of our Thursday, and then some colder northwest winds are going to move in. How much snow are we going to see? Let's talk about that first. Here's our latest snowfall forecast, and again, there's a sharp cutoff of snow amounts to the south because that's where we'll see more sleet and freezing rain. Along Highway 20, we're looking at about a trace to an inch just north of that. That includes Prairie du Chien and Fayette. It looks like about 1 to 4 inches. And boy, you get up toward Decorah and that northern tier of counties, 4 to 8 plus inches. There could be more than 8 inches in some areas far northern Iowa. And then, as we said, you get into southern and central Minnesota, they are going to get a lot of snow. Now, what we're concerned with, the potential for ice. So let's take a look at our ice accumulation. And you do see again, notice the red. Areas of Dubuque County, Jones County, Lynn County, all along Highway 20, both north and south. That's where we're expecting maybe the heavier accumulations of ice. Right now it looks like 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. Even a trace of ice can cause certain big travel impacts. You get up toward that 1/4 of an inch, and then that could start affecting maybe some of the power lines, especially with some windier conditions. Some tree branches certainly, depends on the type of wood, but again, some of that could be a problem. If we get tree branches that break and the winds are strong, that could hit power lines as well. So that's why the ice is really the big concern right now for us across most of eastern Iowa, and generally north of Iowa City. I don't know how much Iowa City will get, and we'll have to watch to see how this exactly sets up. The farther north, eventually you'll get some sleet and all snow, so we'll kind of watch. But really that Highway 20 corridor right now, both north and south of that, kind of the area that may see most of the ice. And again, you can't travel on even a little bit of ice, much less even 1/4 of an inch of ice that moves through. Overall precipitation breakdown, as we've been talking about, and this is Wednesday and Thursday, even the Tuesday night system. Snow will be to the north. There's that mixed precipitation with that ice potential, all the areas that are kind of highlighted in pink, and then mainly rain as you head down toward southern Johnson County, Washington, over toward Mount Pleasant. As far as winds, what are we going to see with this system? Well, we need about a 40-mile-an-hour wind to cause problems, and boy, those wind gusts are getting close to, if not approaching 40. I think they could probably exceed 40 miles per hour for a period of time on Wednesday into Wednesday night. And then you see they stay from the east. And anytime we have an east wind, we know it's a powerful storm system to our south that continues to move through. So it's something that we do need to continue to watch very, very carefully as that system moves through. So again, we've got a system moving in that's going to cause some major travel disruptions for us, especially on Wednesday and through the day on Thursday, with a little light snow possible again on Friday. Going to get to your questions, and thanks for putting those questions in. We really appreciate that. Edna from Mount Pleasant, am I safe from the snow? Yes, you actually are safe from the snow. You'll just quickly pull up the snowfall forecast. Really, I think unless, and it could shift a little bit yet, but generally it looks like along in both north and south, slightly of Highway 20, the county line right there as we head through Blackhawk, Buchanan, Delaware. That's Dubuque County. That's where we'll see the majority of our snow accumulation there and north. Farther south, especially toward Mount Pleasant, you won't have to worry about that. I'd worry on the front side of the system in Mount Pleasant for the potential you could see some sleet or some freezing rain. Wayne from Iowa City, why ice but not snow? Temperature, structure, the atmosphere. That's a great question, Wayne. Let me see if I can find the graphic. I was going to save it till tonight or tomorrow, but I will see if I can find it. I know I have it here. Just to kind of take a look at how these systems evolve and how they move through. And it'll show you that it's really how the temperature structure, the atmosphere is right now. As we said, we've got abundant moisture. That will not be a problem at all. But what we have to have is the right temperatures to have the situation set up to get sleet or freezing rain or snow. Here you go. This will be a really good freezing rain explainer. And here's kind of how the freezing rain happens, right? Everything starts as snow in the upper part of the atmosphere, so that will continue to happen. But as the snow falls, it moves through a warm layer of air, and there's going to be a warm layer of air from south all the way up just north of Highway 20. What that will do is it allows that precipitation to shift over then and melt and becomes rain. However, then it goes through a shallow cold layer, and what that happens, then the rain turns to ice on contact. That's what freezing rain is. So that's why if the column was cold the entire way, we would be seeing snow rain, but because we have that warm layer and then that shallow cold layer near the surface, that's why we once again will find, as we said, conditions as far as rain falling and hitting objects and then freezing, thus freezing rain. Brian asks, why doesn't all-wheel drive work on ice? Brian, nothing. Even if you drive a Jeep, perhaps, nothing's going to work on ice. It just is frictionless, right? And that doesn't matter if you have a four-wheel drive, if you have a two-wheel drive, whatever you have. All-wheel drive, it is not going to drive on ice. It is just very, very slippery. John in Tama, how dangerous will the roads get? It's kind of your personal perspective on maybe how dangerous they'll get. I would say that we'll see some areas of Iowa, certainly, where we will get into some travel not advised. And that'll be because of that ice that will be falling on the roads. Again, looks like that timing starts in the morning with your morning commute and continues most of the day on Wednesday, at least with a mix of rain and freezing rain at times, and some areas may continue to see some of that freezing rain. So again, dangerous enough that you're probably not going to want to be out on the roadways. Do you need to worry about power outages? Jeff from LaPorte City. Always something to concern ourselves with, as we mentioned, with the winds that we'll see with this system and the ice accumulations, where right now we're looking at maybe a quarter to a tenth of an inch of ice. It does accumulate on objects, and that would include power lines. Power lines, however, in Iowa are designed to handle certainly some of the elements that we have, so they're designed around that. Talking to someone on the line today said the potential is also there that electricity moving through the lines can keep it warmer for a period of time. But again, eventually that ice accrues on there, and if you do get the wind that's combined with the ice, that's when you can certainly see some power outages. So should not be widespread, but could be some isolated power outages, something certainly to watch for. Mark in Cedar Falls, where is the snow cutoff line? Let's go back again to that snowfall forecast, and you see once again, it looks right now as it sits, the counties along Highway 20. So Dubuque County, Buchanan County, Delaware County, as we head back toward Grundy, as well as Blackhawk County. You go those counties and north, that's really where we're expecting the accumulating snow at this point. James and Decorah, what time will the snow start? Well, Decorah, James, you've got 2 rounds of snow. And your snow is going to start sometime tomorrow afternoon. We'll take another look at Pinpoint Futurecast, kind of run it through for you, for everyone, but also James and Decorah. Notice that by noon, you've got some light snow in the area. That'll continue as we head through Tuesday evening. I don't think this is going to be particularly heavy, maybe a trace to an inch as that system moves through. Then it breaks, and then the next time that snow moves into northern areas of Iowa, looks like probably around the noon hour on Wednesday. And then from the noon hour on Wednesday all the way through Wednesday into Thursday, Decorah, you are continuing to see into Thursday morning some areas of snow. And that's why we're looking for that 4 to 8 plus inch total as we head up toward northern areas of Iowa. Manchester, you're again in that trace to 1 inch. Elizabeth, thanks for the question. There, find your county. That's where we've got right now. Now, this could evolve, right, and could move a little bit, but confidence pretty high that northern Iowa is going to get the best chance, and it really depends in that Waterloo, Manchester, Dubuque Highway 20 area, how much sleet mixes in. I think if there's more sleet, then you would not see as much freezing rain. If you don't see as much sleet, you're going to see more freezing rain in that area, and those snow amounts will stay on the light side. Is this winter more active than normal? Holly from Hiawatha asks. More active than normal? I don't think so. I think it's become more active late. Remember in November, December, January, really pretty quiet storm-wise. We had that couple of storms in December right around the Christmas time. But other than that, we really didn't have much, and certainly we've got an active pattern, as was thought as we looked ahead to the month of February, and the active pattern is with us right now, but I don't think right now any more active than normal. Snowfall, if you look at the snowfall that we've had for the entire year, we're all close to normal. Iowa City, despite the heavier snow last week, still looking at below normal snowfall. How does freezing rain form? Ben from Marion. We'll run through it one more time for you because, again, just kind of important to take a look at how the temperature is structured in the atmosphere. And it really does depend on how large of a cold pool of air you have near the surface, as well as, once again, if it melts in the mid part of the area. Let's take a look at this graphic. This is a good illustration of all types of precipitation. So if you're looking at rain, you've got cold air, the snow melts, it's rain all the way to the surface and it stays as rain. For the freezing rain to form, you've got the snow melting through a warm layer of air, then moving through a shallow pool of cold air, freezing rain as it freezes on contact. Looking at sleet, you have less warm air and more cold air. So it's snow, then it melts, then it goes back to sleet as it moves through that cold air, as it refreezes. And finally, if we have an entire column of cold air, it's going to stay in the form of snow. Waterloo, again, you're looking at about a trace to 1 inch of snow right now. Again, subject to change, Robin. I appreciate the question, but again, try to be a trace to 1 inch of snow as that system moves through. How do things look for Dubuque where I work? Justin from Galena asks. Well, Justin, let's go ahead and take a look. Dubuque, I think you're going to see a pretty good accumulation right now of the potential for some ice. Again, a trace to 1 inch as far as snowfall is concerned, but as you can see, we take a look at our ice accumulation map, and there you see right Dubuque, kind of one of those areas back toward Delaware and Buchanan County that it really looks like some of that ice could accumulate. So it doesn't look great for travel, certainly as that system moves in. What's the timeline? Marge from Elkader moves in. All right, let's run through it one more time for you with Pinpoint Futurecast, and we'll kind of wrap this up. As we start, 6 a.m. on Wednesday, we've got some moisture gathering down toward the south. Then as we move ahead in time, by about 9 o'clock, you've got that moisture pushing in toward Highway 30. And then at noon, it's pushing up toward Highway 20, and that's where you see the mix or freezing rain. Farther north at this point, it would be snow. You'll see that continues right into the evening hours, and then some scattered snow showers still continuing for you, Marge and Elkader. You can see some of those scattered snow showers through the early part of our Thursday. Again, there's your snowfall forecast, stays to the north with that 1 to 4 inch band. Again, sharp cutoff to the south, and 4 to 8 inches of snow as we head farther to the north. That's really how things look right now. Again, we are continuing to watch this. We are going to have another YouTube Live coming up with Kai. That will be tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Of course, you can find out the latest weather information that we have at kcrg.com by downloading the First Alert Weather app, or of course our newscast will have another update tonight coming up at 10, and Kai joins you at 4:30 in the morning. And again, the storm, we'll watch it and we'll see exactly how it evolves, but it certainly has enough moisture to work with. Cold air's in place that we are expecting a wintry mix and some pretty impactful travel disruptions as we head into Wednesday as well as the early part of Thursday. Thanks for joining us for this weather update.